Last month, we came here and there were a load of sad faces because the polls came out and it showed that Rick Scott was beating Charlie. Well, today everybody should smile because a new poll came out and Charlie Crist is up by 6 points in the new poll. One of the reasons we are ahead today is because of Annette. Annette has put our time in. I want to tell you something. She's been an inspiration to the Democratic Party. She works hard. She's been out there. And I want to introduce not only my friend, but friend of everybody in this room, everybody that cares about the Democratic Party and the democratic process for this state of Florida. It's my pleasure to introduce the next Lieutenant Governor of the state of Florida, Annette.
Thank you so much. I want to say a special thank you to Bert, Commissioner, because he truly is a good friend and he has been instrumental in making sure we're here time and again. And I've seen some of you already. You've seen me a lot. You'll see me a lot again. I hope you like me because you're going to see me a lot between now and Election Day. And Charlie Crist as well. We have been here a lot and we're excited, and that shows you how important Palm Beach, the entire metro area, is to our election. And you know that from here all the way down to where I'm from in Miami, we hold the key. If we don't go out to vote, we lose. If we go out to vote, we win. And we stayed home in 2010, guys. Many of our friends stayed home. We will not make that mistake again this year. There's no way. We can't live 4 more years of Rick Scott. We can't. We got to be scot-free, and that's why we're going to do this. I want to say to those of you who, like me, celebrate the new year, Shana Tova, and I am Jewish. I'm still trying to convert my husband, the Goldstein. But I also want to say a special hello to Murray. Thank you so much for being the founder of this wonderful group. And congratulations, you will turn 97 in February. Thank you for your leadership. And I just want to tell you guys, I am excited. Obviously, seeing a poll 6 points up will get anybody excited, right? That is exciting. But I want you to know that, you know, the polls are going to go up and down. And I want you to realize that Rick Scott has spent $35 million to date attacking Charlie Crist. Think about that. $35 million. Where has it gotten him? Nowhere. He's either 6 points behind or tied at best. I've never heard of such a thing. And you know why? Because we know Rick Scott. We know how bad he is for the state. But we also know Charlie Crist. And we know that even when he was a Republican, he was a great governor for us. And I tell you, I am so proud and so happy. He's a Democrat, aren't you? It's exciting. And I want to say a good word for Nan Ridge, who is just a class act. She is doing speeches for us, and we are all united in this, because we all understand that we got to get rid of Rick Scott. So I was just telling you about the $35 million they've spent. So now we're communicating. We're out there. We're finally starting to see some of the commercials. Now you guys are in an area where you've been seeing the commercials that we've been putting. But I want to tell you, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, we haven't had any because it's so expensive. But we're now communicating everywhere. And now we're seeing the results when we answer back. I am so glad that we waited to answer and that we saved our money to answer. Now is when voters are paying attention. And that has worked. But you know why else we saved our money and we decided to wait a little bit? Because we wanted to get organized. Like you guys. You guys are really organized as a club, and you get out the vote. And I want to thank you for that. But not every area does this. Not every area is organized. So we have opened offices throughout the state. 33 offices to be exact, I think 34. 34 now. See, I keep losing count because we keep opening offices, which is a good thing. And we have over 130 organizers on the ground organizing volunteers to make sure that we're calling them and that we're getting them out to vote. We've never done this for a we've done it for a presidential, but we've never done this for a governor's race in Florida, ever. And I'm so happy we have, because I want you to know, I was a big part of the Obama re-election campaign. I was a media surrogate on TV and on radio and on English and Spanish. And I was also an organizer. I was somebody who actually got people together to go knock on doors, make calls. And I saw that it worked. That it works when you tell your neighbor why it's important to go out to vote. That it works when you tell the person that you go to church or temple with. That works, the person-to-person contact. So I want you to realize that you are a part of this campaign. That you can make sure we win. Because you are going to talk to your neighbors and you're going to make sure. And I have one ask. I want to make sure that you think of 5 people. 5 people that you can think of that you can ask them to go vote with you or to fill out their absentee ballot. Think of 5 people. I'm sure we can all come up with 5. And if we all do that, we're going to multiply those numbers. Because I got to tell you, Palm Beach can do it. You guys can do it. You have the numbers. We have the voters right here. And while we're at it, we're going to help elect up and down the ballot. We're going to make sure to elect our Agriculture Commissioner. And I will tell you, I'm looking at Senator Maria Sachs, and let me say how important her race is to us. It is so important because, you know, it's going to be a Republican-controlled Senate and a Republican-controlled House. And we'll work with them, but guess what? The way we're going to be able to work with them is with that pen and the veto power. We need Senator Sachs to be reelected for us to be able to do all the things we're going to be able to do. So I want you to work real hard to make sure that we all go up to Tallahassee and really give them the kind of stuff we're going to give them. And let me tell you some of the things we want to do. You know,
almost 1 million people that have not been able to get insurance through the Medicaid expansion. It's almost criminal what's happening. We've had some people die, and we have real families suffering. These are working families. These are people that make too much to qualify for Medicaid currently, but do not make enough to qualify for health insurance. It is just not right. Everybody deserves to have health insurance. And certainly the money we sent to Washington, at the last count it was $64 billion that we deserve to have back to invest in that insurance for those people, working people who really are suffering because they don't have insurance. Let's remember that Rick Scott held a Tea Party rally trying to cut almost $4 billion from education. So he only got to cut, bad enough, $1.3 billion, but he wanted to cut more. So I don't understand that kind of thinking, but I will tell you what Charlie and I think. Charlie and I think that every kid deserves an education and for it to be properly funded, and our teachers should be celebrated. Our teachers are our heroes. I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for wonderful teachers who gave day in and day out to make sure that we all learned and studied. And right now, we don't have an emphasis on making sure that our kids have a bright future ahead. And we've also cut Bright Future scholarships in half, which is 50,000 students affected. That is just not okay, and we are going to change that. Charlie Crist always put education first, even in the middle of a great recession. He put education first. We don't have a funding issue. We have a priorities issue. They're backwards, and we're going to get them straight when we win in November.
Terrible. We have almost 1 million Floridians in this situation. But we're giving, by going into her kitchen and bringing the cameras in, we're letting people know we're not just talking about the importance of these million people, let's give a face to these people. And let's tell you their stories and how your vote is going to make sure that people like her have the insurance she deserves. She's a working woman. It is not right. And that money, that Medicaid expansion money, $51 billion, last count was $64 billion, it's money that we sent to Washington, that we need to have it back for our Floridians to be able to have the insurance they deserve. We're also doing this for the future of Florida, which is our kids. Our kids. Our kids need an education, and we have cut education $1.3 billion, he cut it. $1.3 billion. What for? So he could give tax cuts to his friends, big corporations. I don't understand how anybody can be anti-education. I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for an education. Many of you wouldn't be here today if it weren't for an education. That's what makes this country great. That we believe that everybody deserves an opportunity to an education. So we're talking tomorrow with a young woman who graduated cum laude with honors. Now is on the dean's list at Florida International University. And her scholarship from Bright Future Scholarships, cut. She no longer gets it. You know how many kids like her are there in the state? 50,000 kids have been cut of their scholarship. These are kids whose education is at a standstill, all because he wanted to cut half of Bright Future Scholarships. Most of the kids affected, Hispanic and African American kids, the kids that need it the most. We believe that we're going to grow Florida from the middle class out, not from the top down. And that's what we're going to do. And we're also talking to homeowners whose insurance has gone up. Have you noticed your home insurance bill went up? Your electric bill, way up. Have you noticed? They don't care. They don't care about the fact that people like you are on a fixed income and you don't need the electric bill to go up. It's just so that the electric companies can make more money. Meanwhile, we're the Sunshine State and we're not investing in solar energy. We should be the leaders in the country when it comes to solar energy. The reason that he has so much money is because those corporate interests and special interests and big corporations have given him so much money. And who are they? The electric companies. They want to make sure that Charlie Crist doesn't go back to Tallahassee, because when he was there, he fought on behalf of the consumers to make sure that they didn't raise our rates, and then he made us pay for things that they say they were going to build and they never built. We need people on the Public Service Commission that are actually appointed by a governor that's going to appoint people that are going to represent the public. And that's what Charlie always did. He also fought the insurance companies against raising your bills. And lo and behold, why are they giving so much money to Charlie? Because they know that if he did that then, and he was a Republican, he's going to do it again when we go back. And let me tell you someone else. The sugar industry is heavily invested in re-electing Rick Scott. Gosh, he even went hunting. He went hunting all the way to Texas with me, comes back and appoints one of the people he goes hunting with in Texas to the board that actually regulates how we're going to do the cleanup that they mess up. They're the ones that are, polluting our water. That's the kind of governor we have right now, and the kind of governor we're going to have when we elect Charlie Crist is a governor that's for the people, and that's what we need. We need to have the governor's mansion back to the people.